Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Wired Nerdy Podcast. This is season number 3, episode number 2. Is that right, Doug?
Yep, we're on track. Yep.
I got it right. So this is Keith. Doug, how are you doing, my friend? I'm excited that we're doing this.
Yeah, we're doing good. It's a good start to our new season. Going a little slow, but we're going to pick things up. I feel good about it.
We were definitely rusty the last time. If you watched the video on the last podcast, I had to slap something over my face that just said technical difficulties. Like halfway through, my camera just like locked, and like I looked like I was having a stroke or something. I was like,
I figured it was on my end. I didn't want to interrupt our flow. We were doing pretty good, at least vocally, not visually.
We were over halfway through it, and then I was like, man, ain't no way. But that's what happens, right? I think I got it fixed. It was a software problem. You know how it is. Stupid patches, things like that. So anyway, how's your day? Did you have a good day today?
I did. Good, but I think your day may have been better than mine.
I had an awesome day, and I needed it because it's been a very, very long work week. So today, ever since we did RonCon, which was last episode, if you want to check it out, go do it. We got to get reintroduced into playing D&D. And so now I'm kind of on this tear again about I'm really enjoying getting back immersed in the D&D. You and I are talking about doing games again. I'm on a DM. We got a special project we're working on. We're saving that for later. We'll talk about that at another time related to that. But I went to this store in Columbia, Missouri. I'm going to give them a plug. They've been around forever, and I've never been. And it's called Valhalla's Gate, which is probably the coolest name that you could have for a store.
Yeah.
It's tabletop board games is what they have. And I had it in my head. I was like, all right, I need some miniatures for D&D because that's what we played at RonCon, right? I really like what he'd done, but I'm not like I am a creative, artistic guy in way of writing. I've always been a writer. I love writing. So I'm really good with words and I'm very creative as a writer. But I've never been like creative like my brother is with, he can build things, he can paint, he can do all kinds. I've never been quite that way. I can doodle a little bit, but I remember I texted you. I'm like, man, I really want these painted, but they're so expensive on Etsy. So then I ordered some on Etsy, and then I'm like, I got it in my mind. I told my wife, I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to take on painting. I'm going to do this. So I went up there today with the intent of let's go do this. And I didn't realize how tiny they are because I looked at them and I'm like, oh, that's really small. And I got intimidated. But the good news is that store's awesome. And they had painted ones that were not astronomical, unlike Etsy, which were astronomical. And then they have artists that you can commission to paint, which was really exciting for me because I've been researching on Etsy. And so I don't know, this is a cool local option. So I picked that up. I picked up some really awesome looking metal dice. Even though I like virtual, just in case, I always have little dice. So I don't know, man, I'm kind of enjoying getting into this hobby after being reintroduced with RonCon, and I had a great day. And then at our mall, they had like a Comic Con, and I met up with my brother there, and we walked through that, and it was really cool. It was like a mini baby version of what you and I go to for Kansas City, but it was cool that it was in like such a town that was so close nearby. And so, you'll definitely have to check it out next time. I didn't know it was going on. Like I didn't go there deliberately. We swung by for another reason. My daughter, something my daughter needed, and it ended up being just happened to be going on. So anyway, it was a great day, man. I had a good time. What'd you do today?
Grocery shopping, as fun as that sounds. Dude. I don't have any cool stories, but I live vicariously through you. See, I'm trying to use big words on the show this year. So
I'll bring you along with me next time. How's that?
Yeah.
Now, there is a cool place in Columbia that my son told me about. It's called Hexagon Alley, and it's a tabletop.
Awesome name again.
Yeah, it is. But it's like a board game place that you go, and it's like a coffee bar kind of thing, but you just go and you play board games, or you can do D&D or whatever, and that's in Columbia as well. So we're going to check some of these places out. We got some cool places to go on the hunt. So
now I went to one in Jeff City, the Corkin board.
Yeah,
it's got some board games and stuff. It's pretty cool.
They do, yeah. Well, and I didn't realize.
I don't know if that's similar.
Oh, I think this is more geared towards tabletop gaming, like role playing, like D&D kind of a thing.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But it's still cool. They have places we have like a popcorn store here in town where you can do board games too, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But my brother was telling me, remember when we went last podcast season, we went to Witches and Wizards?
Yes, definitely.
I guess right next door to it is a comic book shop. And I don't know why that registered with me. Maybe we
went to it, I thought. Yeah.
I didn't think I would have remembered that.
Oh, okay.
I don't think we did. You go back and look, but
Okay.
I don't think we did. If we did, I will admit it. I was wrong. Sorry.
No.
I don't remember.
Or we drove by it, maybe. But yeah, we'll move on. Yeah.
My recollection was I think we went to Witches and Wizards more toward the evening, and I think it was closed, if it was even open. But I forgot all that.
I think it was closed, but and we didn't mention it on the show. Yeah.
Maybe that's what it was. I want to go again. I want to check it out. So anyway, you want to do some nerd news?
Yeah, let's get into it.
All right, let's keep some nerd news.
Nerd news.
Now remember, if my face freezes, you gotta tell me. It shouldn't. I'll be mad if it does.
We're looking good so far.
All right, awesome. You want to take the first one? First of all, this was a lot of talk.
I got to see a lot of the trailers. So the first thing we're going to talk about is the Xbox Developer Direct 2025. You know, they've done this a couple of years in a row for a while. It's their time to showcase things coming out on the Xbox. And there's some really good titles as we scroll down. The first one, Ninja Gaiden 4. I've played some of the earlier Ninja Gaidens, and they're great. But the visuals from this look amazing so far.
Yeah. What was unique about this particular showcase was it was directly from the developers, meaning it wasn't like a big keynote where you had an executive from one of the game companies, standing on stage. This, I felt like they were like mini documentaries, and they went into the details about the game, how they were made, what are some of the aspects of the game. And it was just all focused on the game. And they had the team of programmers that are involved in these games actually showcasing them. And you're right. I mean, you look at these graphics, they look just incredible. I was blown away. It has been like over 10 years since the last Ninja Gaiden game. So that's
been a long time. I know.
Oh, yeah. And a lot of people didn't expect it. Like, they didn't know this was coming. And Team Ninja, they always do a great job with their stuff. As you can see, look at the footage there. It's just, it's brutal. So I'm looking forward to that one. I think that'll be great. Now, this was the one that's the furthest out. I will say the other thing that surprised me with each one of these we're going to talk about are the release dates. I was pretty impressed with it. And all of them will come out on the Xbox Game Pass upon day one release.
Oh, nice.
Makes it a pretty good deal if you think about it. But this one's fall. Yeah. I think it's fall of 2025.
Yeah, I looked up Ninja Gaiden 3. It came out for the 360 in 2012.
Yeah, and they had a few of
So it's been a minute.
It has been a minute. And then they had others like Ninja Gaiden Black and like a few little offshoot ones too.
Yeah.
I've not been in the series for a long time. I do remember.
I think I was on one or two way back.
Yeah. The Nintendo NES version was wicked.
Yeah.
It was tough. It was a tough game. All right, let's keep on rolling here because we got a lot to kind of get through. South of Midnight. Did you watch this trailer at all?
I watched a little bit. It's kind of reminds me of a horror. It's a horror game, but a lot of choices to be made and different paths to go down.
Yeah. What's cool is you follow a girl named Hazel, and she has these powers essentially. And it's cool. It's like they merged. Like it's like Louisiana Cajun voodoo mixed with, I don't know. It was a really cool concept. I'm going to click ahead here so you can see some of the characters. It's a third person, like over the shoulder adventure. And there's some really cool like characters. The artwork is just gorgeous in this game.
And I think what's going to get some of the fans is it's got a lot of Southern Gothic folklore in it.
Yeah, great.
So if you've kind of researched into some of the voodoo history and Cajun lifestyle down there, there's some stuff that you're going to know about.
That's actually a great way to put it. The Southern Gothic folklore. That is such a good way to put it. And that's unique. We've not seen that in a game before. So
we've not. No.
I'm excited. I think
and the visuals look amazing. I mean, the South got the old buildings there.
Yeah. It looks great. It really does. So I'm excited about this one. And this is April 8th. That's not far away.
Not far away at all. Yeah.
Exactly. All right. Now this one, I got some feelings on this one.
I'm not too interested, but I'll let you talk about it.
So this is a French studio.
Yep.
Look, they had me at turn-based combat. You know me. I love turn-based combat. I love it's in like this weird alternate history thing when you saw the Eiffel Tower in the background was all twisted. And essentially the story is that these large monoliths come out of the ground and they have a number on them each year. And that number, whatever that number is, so for example, this one's 33. If you are the age 33 and above on the planet, you die.
Oh.
So and so this group of warriors come together and they're trying to figure out why and to stop it. I love the premise and I love the turn-based combat. However, I started to get a little hesitant because it looks complicated in that even though it's turn-based, they have these moments where you have to like time real-time attack, and then you have to do all these modifications to like your attacks. And it looks very complicated. And so that made me go, oh, it's turn-based, but it's complicated turn-based.
Yeah, and that's the point I was going to make, is that I love getting into a game. It can be a little complicated, but then if it goes too far, then it's not fun to me anymore, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I want some pick-up play and not a lot of brain power.
I agree. But, here's the thing. If it's on Game Pass and you have Game Pass, you can try it. If you hate it, you're not
you can go in, go out,
Yeah.
and no real cost except your subscription.
Exactly. So that's the win for it. The date on this bad boy was April 24th.
April's going to be a good month.
That's impressive. This one, and I know I shouldn't be, this was my absolute all-time favorite of the day, and probably a lot of people's. I'm going to let you go ahead and, what is it?
Doom, the Dark Ages. Now, we have talked about this, I'm pretty sure, last year, and we saw, I think, some screenshots and stuff, but no real development like we're seeing now from the producers and behind-the-scenes stuff.
It looks awesome. Yeah. First of all, did you play Doom from, they did just Doom 2016 version, and then they did Doom Eternal. Did you play
I played Doom Eternal a little bit, and the graphics are amazing. I mean, it is gory. Watch your kids when you play that. But
I played Doom 2016 and beat it. I probably got about halfway through Doom Eternal. And the way they describe this, and I love it, is essentially in the 2016 version of Doom, it was very run and gun. You got to keep moving really fast or you would die. Eternal, they wanted you to basically fly across the map, right? This, they're going back to their roots like Doom 1, and it's more strafing back and forth, and you're a tank. So you're in this massive armor, and you more strafe, kind of like the original OG Doom. And I love it. And you have this shield that has blades that go all the way around it. They're showing it right now. He even pulled it like a chainsaw.
Nice.
But you can throw it, and it's gory. There's a weapon with like skulls that load into it, get chopped up, and shoot at enemies. I just
right there, yeah.
Oh my god, look at that thing.
That's crazy.
I love it. And I love that it's like they slowed the pace down. So like right there's 2016, dude. You can see how fast that is. And then you go Doom Eternal, you're just hopping all over the place. And they wanted to ground you on this one. See how you're just going toe to toe and you're not jumping all over the place. I love this style.
I think that takes us back to the classics.
It does. And I am so excited about this version. And I love the other two because they were gorgeous. They were great. But you can even slow down the gameplay pace. So it's going too fast for you. They have a slider in it. So if you wanted to go a little more methodical. Here's the other cool thing. I don't know if you saw it. I'll see if I can skip ahead here. There is this moment in the trailer. There's these massive demons off in the distance, like huge, right? Size of buildings, where the Doomslayer, which of course is the main character, he steps inside of a mech suit. Did you see that?
I missed that part.
I was trying to see if I can find it in here. And when he steps inside this mech suit, I mean, it's hard to explain. He's like,
that's awesome.
It kind of reminds me of Godzilla in a way, because there's these beasts, and they give you like even a thing that you can fly on, almost like a dragon that's like a jet. And there's a story in it. Everybody wants the Doomslayer's power. And this takes place before the 2016 Doom. And it leads right into the 2016 Doom story-wise. But it looks very story heavy, which, you know me, I love story-driven games. So it's not all online combat. I think here in a moment, they're showing that they have new cast of characters. But essentially, when you get in this mech suit, you are the size of a skyscraper. And you can fight like these demons that are just as big. I mean, you can see how large it is on the screen there. But what they're doing with this game conceptually is just, I don't know. It looks so incredible to me. I'm sad I couldn't find the mech here. But I'm excited about this one. Now, this one comes out, I think it's May 15th. It's really close to my birthday. So that's why I was like, and I definitely going to get it probably on PlayStation. That's what I'm thinking. But if you ever played Doom, there he is. He's getting in the mech. Watch this, man. Look at this. He hooks it up to like his heart. And look at this thing. It's Pacific Rim. Look at that thing. It's got horns.
It looks amazing.
Now watch. Look.
He's running through bridges and buildings. And
I saw that. I got giddy.
I may get some hate mail, but I was a fan of the Power Rangers way back in the day.
Dude, no.
Okay.
You won't get hate mail.
Okay, good. So very Power Ranger-esque. I mean, some of the combat when Power Rangers first came out, I thought was great. But I was also, 10 years old or something?
No, dude, like, come on now. Like, Power Rangers has a huge cult following. When we go to Comic Cons, that's why people are always lining up to meet the people that played them. So now you won't get hate for that. It's well loved. So overall, I mean, those were the primaries that they had, at the actual showcase. It was unexpected. It's about an hour long. It's worth watching out on YouTube. I would give this like a good 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10 for a showcase, especially for Xbox. A lot of people have been complaining that they don't have a lot of exclusives. I do kind of wonder about, all these announcements, and they're like, yeah, you get it on Game Pass, but then you're also able to get on other consoles like PlayStation.
Well, I heard the argument that they only did 4 or 5 games. Well, you got to understand the development that goes into those games.
They showed a lot of
them.
So
you're not going to see a lot.
But these were long showcases. You look at this footage. I mean, you get to see a lot of the game. So I don't mind showing 5 or 6 games and then getting to see a lot of them. Because as a consumer, I'm like, and especially the developers are talking to you, it makes me think, okay, is this for me? Is this not? And you can kind of weigh it out. So anyway, it's really good. I'm excited about this one.
So we'll end Doom by saying that I saw another entry into the Will It Run Doom.
Oh,
someone had it running on a PDF.
PDF. I know. I saw that. That's so cool. You're not going to get this game to run on a PDF. Look at them graphics. That's incredible. All right. Let's keep on trucking. Oh, man. Netflix.
Now we have a little sad news for everybody.
This makes me mad. It makes me so mad. I wish... Netflix.
Netflix. From not to steal your thunder there, but from the the hatred on sharing our password with our friends and our family and people we may not even know because we're nice. Now you're going to raise the price on us. So.
I know. So Netflix is raising prices again. Standard plan, and it's going up to $18, $17.99. Netflix's cheapest plan in the U.S. with ads will go from $6.99 to $7.99, and its priciest subscription is $25. Dear Lord, you dummies! I don't know. And look at this. They have this chart on The Verge. Look at this price increase here, man. Like it's.
Oh yeah.
Jeez Louise. And it never goes down, of course. I don't know. And by the way, the $24.99 is for 4K, 4 screens. And you know what I did the last time they price hiked? I used to have the 4K one. I dropped down to the HD, which is 1080. Yeah. And just to get the price down. And I didn't even notice a difference in quality, to be honest with you. I don't know. But
yeah, I think we have standard with ads, and the ads aren't that long at all.
Yeah. Yeah, they're gonna make me keep dropping tiers and then eventually I'm just gonna stop paying for it. I'm just gonna drop it. It's pissing me off. So,
it's interesting. I'm looking at another website, but I hope this doesn't set a precedent for all the other streaming services.
Seems like it does.
So Netflix, you're gonna start out at $15.49 per month to $17.99.
Yep, $15.49 to $17.
Then you look at the other stuff; it's cheaper. So Apple TV, a really good subscription is $9.99 a month. Max, their base with commercials, $9.99. So I don't know. I know Netflix has some good titles on there.
They do.
But compared to Max, Apple TV, Disney Plus, I don't think they could justify that price. That's just me.
Well, and how much of this is they did the boxing thing with Tyson?
Oh, and it was terrible.
Well, they did that, and I think they're trying to get into sports. And now they have an agreement with the WWE, which honestly, that's great, especially if you can watch back catalog of WWE and you don't have to go to Peacock, right? Because they were the ones.
But they need to upgrade their servers big time.
They do.
Or you're from IT. Events, what do they need to
for live events? They need to kind of do better on the technology because it was struggling on some of those live events.
Simple me, it's servers, but it may be way more a bigger answer than that.
Yeah, you're right about servers to an extent. It is a load, but to me, they're passing on the cost of them trying to get into sports to the consumer is what this tells me.
Yeah.
So I don't know, you jerks.
Yeah, just looking at Peacock and all those, like I said, Netflix is a lot higher than them.
Yeah. All right, let's get out of that. Do you want to? Let's do the next Netflix one. Why not? While we're on the Netflix,
rip the Band-Aid off there.
Yeah, let's just do it. All right. So this is the next one, Netflix. Now they have cloud services like for video gaming. I don't know if we've talked about it before on the show.
I've been playing Civilization, and it actually runs really good.
Yeah.
I run it on my iPad. You have to have a Netflix subscription, but it's through the Apple Store.
And it basically just installs it like an app, is what it does. And it works well.
And you just use your Netflix login to access the game, but I think the app is from Apple.
Yes, it is.
Or Google Play,
whatever platform you're on. But it works well. Well, now they want to get into co-op party games. And it says a Netflix exec says that we think that this is a successor to Family Board Game Night or the evolution of what the game show on TV could be. I think of Jackbox Games is what I think of here. So I don't know. I like that they're trying to branch out into different ways of playing. What I don't like after that last article, they're increasing their prices and passing it on to the customer. Without even knowing if it look, these are the jerk offs that will take a really good show that's performing well and cancel it.
Kill it. They'll kill it immediately.
But then they go and launch a service like this, not knowing if we're going to like it. And then in the same week, jack up the price. So I don't know, man. Netflix has been ticking me off lately. So I don't know. We'll see. Oh, by the way, on that point, I mentioned Jackbox Games. I'd always bought them before with, I believe it was, my consoles, like my Switch and that sort of thing. You can buy them on Apple TV. Did you know that?
I did not.
And then you can run them from your Apple TV.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I have to give a compliment to you for suggesting Apple TV to us. We've had it 6 months, maybe almost a year.
Yeah.
Oh, so much better.
You like it?
Yep. And I know you told us about the TV apps, not to get distracted here, but
that's all good.
Apple TV is great.
All right. You want to take the next one?
Yeah. It wouldn't be, make sure I have the right one. Yep. It wouldn't be a show without talking about AI. And President Trump just got elected. He's doing a lot of stuff first couple days in office. One of the things was a press conference with OpenAI and SoftBank. I believe did we talk about this at our friend group or at the last show?
No, our friend group.
Okay.
The other night. We did not talk about it.
I know we talked about it. So.
Yep. So you want to... What is it?
So the project they announced is the Stargate project. It's going to be starting in Texas. And essentially what it is huge data servers, right? Make sure I'm tracking here.
Yeah, data centers.
Yep.
Servers.
And to power some AI operations. And they're talking about some mini nukes. I know that was in our discussion with the friends.
Yeah.
Some mini nuclear reactors to power these data centers.
Yeah, the idea behind it is it's a $500 million investment. They're going to build these large, massive buildings full of servers dedicated for AI, which takes a lot of power. They're going to allow them to generate their own electricity on site for that power.
Yeah.
And the prospect of what they said they're going to use it for is in the medical space to start with, meaning that I think the example they gave, if you are a doctor on a reservation, like an indigenous reservation, usually, unfortunately, it's a lot poorer area, you will have access to medical care records and the same thinking as somebody who's at the Mayo Clinic, like world class. So I like the idea that it is trying to democratize health. They did get into eventually curing cancer and how there's particulates in the bloodstream and that you can detect cancer. So with a blood test, you would know what cancer somebody was susceptible to. And then, of course, leading from that, AI can help them with these massive server farms create vaccinations for cancer. Now, we always talk about AI, good, bad. I think it's great that they're using it for a positive thing. And I hope that's true. Although we all also know there's definitely money behind this that people are going to make as well. So.
Yeah, I mean, they're getting $500 billion in investments over the next 4 years.
I may have said million. I meant billion. Thank you for that correction.
So
I think I said billion.
So this is a Dr. Evil kind of thing.
Yeah, billion. Yeah.
Yeah.
Funny name, Stargate. Yeah.
Yeah, Stargate, of course, makes me think that we're studying hieroglyphics and
How do you know they're
dimensions and
not?
portals and
Maybe this is a front. If our friend Matt was here, we would totally be like, "Hey, Matt." Matt's a conspiracy
he's got the
theorist
inside
junkie.
scoop. Yeah.
Yeah, we would just be, "Hey, Matt, I bet this whole thing about curing cancer is a front. I bet they're really studying aliens, and that's what these data centers are doing." And he would then say the prime directive.
Yeah, because how much power does an actual Stargate take to generate the portal?
Well, apparently a lot if we're putting in micro nukes.
Right.
More OpenAI. This is the last one here. What do we got?
Yeah, so OpenAI's new operator AI can do things on the web for you. Yep. I'm reading through it. It's going to help you do some research. It's also going to help you with websites. They talked about checking out at shops, sending emails, login credentials. So is this like an Ask Jeeves assistant?
No, well, the difference. So up to this point,
a little more educated. Yeah.
Well, it's even more than that. So up to this point, when you hear the term agent, that essentially means that it is able to interact and go do things. Up to this point, you ask ChatGPT a question. It's taking its learned knowledge from the LLM, the large learning model, and it's just regurgitating back to you that summary, right? On this, when you tell it to actually go do something, the example that they gave is essentially it can go buy plane tickets for you. So it has a browser built into it. It opens the browser. It goes to like Southwest or American Airlines, United Airlines, whichever, has your credit card information, and it's clicking through. So now you're telling it to do something, and it's going to go do it for you. So, yeah, I don't know. We knew this was coming. It's expensive. This is a part of the $200 subscription, by the way. Yeah. This is not the $20.
So here's my little sandbox of what I'm thinking here, and stay with me.
Okay.
No tin hat, anything now, but I would be worried about administrative assistants. I know it doesn't seem right now, but that's kind of their job for CEOs and executives and stuff to do all this. But I'm kind of relating it to the writer strike and AI writing scripts and stuff.
No, it's a fair question.
I'm making a rough case for it, but I think if this gets more advanced, then your administrative assistants and stuff are in jeopardy of losing their jobs.
The example they gave, you're spot on, because the example they gave was if you needed to go plan a trip, you say, hey, you could say, okay, I need to go to Vegas. I don't want to pay more than this price for a ticket, and it just went and did it. And while you're watching, you can take it over if you wanted to. But you are right. If you had a personal assistant that does these kinds of things for you, I mean, right now they're showing it's grocery shopping for you.
Yeah.
I mean, with Instacart. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
You inject this into a robot, it's going to get weird. The other day, I actually had a conversation with it, and I just flat out asked it, and we talked about what jobs it's going to replace. And the answer it gave was so brutally honest and scary all in once. So
that's a lot coming from it itself.
I know. That's the thing. It is, I don't know, because I was asking it like, well, how's it going to impact me? And what's weird is because it's familiar with what I do. It's like, oh, yeah, this, that. I don't know. He was giving tips, which is nice, but I don't know, man. Like we've said it since this whole blow up. AI is so cool, but scary in the same regard. It's
absolutely.
We're just like we're teetering. That's why when we ask our question on the podcast, when we have guests on, do you think AI is it Star Trek or Skynet? So, or Interstellar. They had a good relationship with AI. Anyway, yes, we'll keep reporting on it. I think that does it for that one. That does it for the nerd news, man.
I think it's good.
You got some interesting news coming up here. I don't know how you want to preface this.
Yeah, I'd say let's start with Civilization coming out with a new game.
You want to start with the video games?
That starts the whole conversation.
All right. Yeah. Hey, I got you. Let me get that up.
So we're getting ready to discuss laptops and laptop buying strategies and stuff. But really what we need to talk about is why do we need to upgrade a laptop? We've made a couple jokes, not really jokes, but we've suggested to one of our friends, Matt, that he loves Civ. I mean, he is the biggest Civ fan I know.
He's hardcore.
But hey, your computer's not going to run this new game, bud. And we're all going to be on it, and we're waiting for you, and you're going to be lagging behind. So this really started a good conversation with us and our friends of what specs? Civ 6? Nope, 7.
A 7. Yeah.
Yep. Roman numerals hate me, but yeah. What Civ 7 requires. So I think you've got it on the screen there.
I do.
And just talking to him about getting a new laptop, and that made me think about getting a new laptop. So.
Yeah. Now, the two ways you can go here. So our main topic is just going to be really about buying advice when you're wanting to do specifically gaming, and honestly, even if you're not a gamer, the stuff we're going to cover it's a good level set on the specs because they can get overwhelming and confusing. So, let's just first one thing out the gate. A laptop, while it has similar spec numbers versus a PC, fundamentally it is not powered the same as a full desktop PC. Why? Full desktop PC has more electricity. It also has more airflow. So just so you know, there is a fundamental difference. We could have a whole separate conversation about desktops, but for now, we're going to focus on gaming laptops because that's what you prefer, right? Because you like gaming mobile, especially.
Yeah, and I think, knock on wood, I've had 2 gaming laptops. I know that heat is an issue with laptops that don't have a lot of room to expel that heat, but they've been great so far. I have some brand loyalty to Lenovo, but I'm open to other manufacturers.
I was trying to find the exact model that you have currently.
So I have a Legion 5. Let me see if I know how to use my computer.
This is a Gen 9. I don't know what.
I have a 2022 edition.
Oh, got it. Here, I'll just put that in there. 2022 Legion. And you said, is it a 5?
I believe it is a Legion 5i.
Gotcha. I just wanted to, boom, there it is. That's some pretty sweet specs, man. Oh, this is the 40s. This is the new one.
Okay. Say. Yeah, I've got a 3070, I think, in my computer.
Here, I'll put that
so, and for those that don't know, 3070 is the graphics card.
That's right.
And there's going to be some stuff I'm learning too during this discussion. So
this is what you got right here for computer.
Yes, that and you've been happy just like it. I've been very happy.
Yeah, it's a pretty beefy system, honestly. Still,
now I know, and I think we talked about it on the show, but I bumped it up to 1 more terabyte. It only had 1 terabyte, so now it's got 2.
Nice.
And then it started out with 16 gigs of RAM. And I bumped it up to 32. And if you could tell everybody what RAM does for you.
Exactly. RAM is random access memory. So it's a fancy way of thinking that when in the moment, think of it as the short-term memory. So when a program is running in the moment, like a video game, Microsoft Word, anything, it has to remember things. And what it does is it puts those things in that short-term memory. And then the processor, which is the brain that's doing all the math, it will call on those things for reference. It's like, oh, I have to remember the math. And it goes and grabs it. The more memory you have, obviously, the more things you can remember in that short term. And then that allows the brain to go faster. Think of it that way. It's the brain and the memory working together, just like our bodies. And then when we talk about storage, well, that's what it is. It's like a filing cabinet. It's actually the storage. So there's your 1,000-foot flyby on that one.
Well, with that explanation, I need to upgrade my RAM. I'm getting a little slow back here. So.
on yourself, you mean?
Yes. Yeah.
See, I got to keep up.
The other question I had, as we shop for laptops, as we shop for desktops, there's a TI on these graphics cards.
Like this bad boy here.
So I know you've told me before, but for those listening and those watching, if we look at a 3070 Ti or a 4070 Ti now, what does the Ti mean?
Now, the Ti is specific to a brand of a video card. Now, what is a video card? Video card, of course, it's what handles your graphics. It has its own processor brain and its own memory, like I just explained, and it works with your main computer, but it handles the graphics, the pictures that's displayed to you. If you see TI, that's very specific to NVIDIA, who is a company that makes video cards. TI actually stands for titanium. And what that essentially means is it's a higher tier of graphics card. So it's clocked a little faster. Sometimes it has more RAM. Sometimes it has more cores in the CPU. It's just a fancy way of saying that if you had a regular 3070 versus a 3070 Ti, the Ti is going to be a little bit faster. And they did that to give gamers an option so that you don't have to bump up to the next number, because sometimes it can be a lot more money. I mean, you're talking $300 to jump to the next number, which would be a 3080. Where if you did a TI, you're only looking at maybe half that, like $100 more, 150, and you're getting a little bit more performance. So they did it as tiering so that you have options when shopping. That's how NVIDIA does it. There are similar features, within the AMD, which is their competitor, that does the same thing. So anytime you see those letters after it, it usually means it's a little bit faster.
Yeah, so you're answering lots of my questions, and I think we're educating those out there. The next thing I would say is AMD or Intel. Is that brand loyalty, or is one really better than the other?
To me, it's personal preference. So there are pros and cons to both. The problem with the video card market is that each series and generation really kind of changes so fast, and they're almost like cat and mouse. Some are better than that, like back and forth, back and forth. I have a preference, but it's not because I don't think it's better innately. It's just what I'm comfortable with. Both of them are amazing choices. You cannot go wrong with an AMD. You cannot go wrong with NVIDIA. Like, there's no wrong choice on it. So I just want to be clear about that.
Perfect.
So you can't go wrong. Now, AMD traditionally, they will sometimes run a little bit warmer, and that's important with a laptop. So they can run a little bit hotter, and I'm talking about like temperature.
Yeah.
So their performance is amazing, though. I want to be clear about that. AMD oftentimes achieves their speed in different ways than NVIDIA. So NVIDIA will like have a faster processor, right? Where sometimes AMD can get to that same speed, but they'll do something different with an older processor that's not maybe as fast. They'll like add more cores. So instead of making it run faster, they just add more lanes of highway. So it's different. One's not better than the other. Now, a lot of people are starting to take notice. We talk about budget builds, especially on the desktop. Intel is starting to make video cards. Now, Intel was always like a laughing stock in the gaming community, but they now have something called the Intel Arc Battle Mage.
Ooh, I love the name so far.
It's an awesome card. So this is where Intel was super smart. And this just came out not that long ago. It is a budget card. So this bad boy is about $200, $250, and its performance is like around, I think they say, I mean, it could be like a 40, 60, 40, 70. So, and those cards are about $500, anywhere from $500 to $1,000. So if you're doing a budget build or building for your kids, like a desktop, oh my gosh, Intel is bringing it. And there's rumors there's going to be a Battle Mage 2. Now, why this is good is if Intel keeps doing this, they are taking it to task to AMD and to NVIDIA for the budget card. So I love that there's a third combatant in the competitive space and this will actually end up, this is desktops, but this will end up landing in laptops at some point.
Very nice.
So those are your players right there. Let's look at specs for a moment here. Okay. You'll always on a video game. Let's go back to like Civilization. All right. You're always going to have recommended and then minimum. Now, with a game that's graphically intense like this, but Civilization has a lot of math because it's got to calculate the turns. It's a turn-based strategy game. And when you get into the upper levels, dude, your fan will kick on. It's just going to take forever. So if you look here on the recommended specs, of course, we got Windows, duh. The CPU is an i5, 16 gigs of RAM. They're showing, notice here, a 2060 RTX NVIDIA or an AMD 6600. Those two are about equivalent with each other. Or remember, I just mentioned the Intel Arc.
Oh, they've got it on there, yeah.
They do. One of them. This is not the Battle Mage. I don't think the A70. This is the first Arc that came out. And then storage, it's going to take about 20 gigabytes of storage. Remember, that's like your filing cabinet. That's your minimum. Now, what I would expect is you're going to have to run it. It's not going to look as pretty as these pictures. You're going to have to run it on a lower setting. It's going to look a little chunky. And then you get into those upper levels of turns, it's going to chug a little bit, depending on especially with this i5 processor. Now, just so you know about the processor count, whether it's AMD or Intel, same thing. You can't go wrong with either. They're great. There's Ryzen 5, i5. There's Ryzen 7, there's i7. All that means is that's how many cores it has and how fast is it clocked. Cores are like lanes of the highway. Have you ever gone to a big city? You ever seen like an 8-lane highway versus a 4-lane highway?
Oh, yeah.
Think of it that way. You can have more traffic, meaning more data flowing.
Oh, that's a great way to put that. Thank you.
So let's look at the minimum. So that's the recommended. Look at the minimum. So still, it's rocking. It's still i5, not far off, just a little different generation. Technically, you run it on an i3, which is really kind of 8 gigs of RAM, which is half of the 16 gigs, and then the really old NVIDIA 1060. This bad boy is going to chug probably on this one, but with recommended. So you want to go. My advice is you always want to try, if you can, be higher than the recommended. So when we looked at my friend Matt, he would have been on the high end of the minimum. So that means he's probably going to struggle. That's why we were telling him you probably need to get a different system if you're wanting to play this game.
Well, and I think we made a really good point of he's probably good. And if anybody out there has played Civ, he's probably good for his first 200 turns.
Yeah.
But after that, it just tanks.
And a lockup. Yeah.
Yeah. I've got a really great laptop. It makes all the turns right now. But it does, the fan kicks on about 700 turns. I mean, that's a lot. That's when my fan usually goes to work.
Yeah.
But it's still running smooth.
And you tell graphically, look at this. I mean, it's so dense.
Oh, yeah. And there's a lot going on. It looks like, I've watched a couple things. It's coming out next month. There's a lot more landscape visuals than we had last time.
And it's doing math. So that's the important thing. Why do we pick Civilization? It's because Civilization is doing math for all of the citizens, all of the cities, all of the armies, all these things you see on these screens. It's doing mathematics. And then it's throwing it over to the graphics card to show you all these animations.
Oh, yeah.
So it's a pretty demanding game. A lot of people don't think of strategy games as demanding. Whew, Civ can be. Yes, it very well can be. Now, do you want to pivot over to talk about GTA 6?
Yeah. So GTA 6 is important because they haven't released the official specs. And you look at all these websites and they're thinking, okay, what do I need to get? Because when GTA 6 comes out, I want to be ready. So you have all these websites saying, okay, this is what we think it's going to be, but we're not exactly sure.
Exactly. And GTA 6 is a different style of game comparatively to turn-based. So they're guessing that the recommended specs is going to be a GeForce 2080. I would be shocked. If that,
I think it needs to be higher.
I think it's going to be a 30. I would guess a 30 series, maybe a 3070. It may go 3060. But and the reason why is, look here, i7. This is recommended, right? So I don't know. I think this is a bit of a guess. 16 gigs of RAM I get. I don't know. The minimum requirement is going to be chunky, man. i5 maybe if you do minimum. But the point is, when you get to looking at these, the biggest thing is you got to balance the amount of money that you're spending for a laptop versus the specs. You want the biggest bang for your buck, and you have to be careful because oftentimes when you get to looking like for certain price points, you'll start to see a pattern. And what you're going to be trading off are between these two things right here. It's going to be the CPU or the graphics card. Now, when do you need which? Okay, well, the advantage to going a higher processor, more lanes of the highway, depends on what you're doing. I think on your list, Doug, you had said, does it really matter between i5, i7, i9? How do I decide? Wasn't that one of the questions?
Yeah, it was. What is the difference? Because for us non-IT folks, we get all these numbers, we get a little confused. What is there a really big difference between i7 and i9 on Intel? I don't know anything about AMD, so I have to go with the Intel side.
It's the same with AMD. AMD has they have a 7 series, they have a 9 series that matches it. Okay. Again, lanes of the highway. So I always answer this question. It depends on what you're doing. Look, bro, if you're just a straight up gamer, honestly, i5 is an okay processor. It's good.
Yeah.
If you're going to be doing any sort of streaming, like you want to show it on Twitch or record your games, you should go i7 because more lanes of the highway, you're doing more while gaming. If you're going to be doing video editing and gaming, i9. Okay. Now, I want to be clear. My system is an older system. I built it. It's got an i7 in it, but it's done very well for me with the video editing as well. So the answer to your question depends on what you're using it for.
Okay.
I almost always will lean towards an i9 if you're going to be doing video editing, just because it has a lot more cores. That's what it's meant for. Like, it's really good at that kind of math. Okay. Now you got the money. It's going to help you run your game. by far. But you know, if you're just straight up gaming, i5 is fine to stick around. i7's a little better on performance between 5 and 7, but if you're going to be doing any kind of streaming at all or multiplayer gaming, like with your friends, i7.
Gotcha.
If you're just doing single player narrative games, i5 is fine. But if you're going to be doing, you know, any kind of streaming at all or doing multiplayer, I would say go with i7. And the same goes for the Ryzen series on AMD. 5, 7, 9, it's the exact same advice.
Well, I think that makes a really good point for our listeners is if you're going to play GTA 6, GTA 5, where it excelled tremendously was the multiplayer aspect of it.
Oh,
so we're going to have some juice. We can play that single player campaign all we want.
Yeah.
But to go into that multiplayer mode, we're going to need a little more juice in the back.
It's always good to have a few more cores for that. Yeah. It really is.
Good.
All right. What other questions you got, man? I mean,
I talked about my desktop being mobile, but we've talked a lot about handheld games. So with the coming of the Steam Deck 2 and the Lenovo
Legion Go.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Thank you very much. With those, I think I've kept my laptop a little less mobile and kept it right on the desk. So I've also looked at some desktops.
Have you really?
So I am considering a desktop as well.
What?
And I think you've told me, and I should know this, that desktops, I can upgrade that later because I've got the box there.
Yes. The beauty about, which I'm going to show you a site that I absolutely love. I haven't bought from them before. They're not sponsors, but I love the way they do their social media. Meta PC. When you go to configure, right? And I just want to get you like a picture here. The advantage when you look at these images here.
Well, and they look beautiful. I mean, my laptop is just this black laptop sitting on the table. There's not much to look at there.
Well, and the advantage is you can do videos now inside the glass case with motion video. Like you can get really fancy, okay?
Yeah.
But what you're looking at here is you can replace that entire motherboard and for a fraction of the cost. So the advantage of a desktop is when you want to go new, it's actually easier and cheaper for you to upgrade than it is for you to buy a whole new laptop typically.
Oh, nice.
Now there's a caveat to that. Okay. Nvidia just announced their 5,000 line. Dude, like the top tier of that is like that video card is like a $2,000 video card. Some of the high-end video cards are really expensive. So just be aware of that. But if you stay mid to low range, you could upgrade your motherboard, you could upgrade your processor, and you get a awesome speed bump, and it'll be for a fraction of the cost of having to buy a new laptop. That's the advantage of a desktop. So
very nice.
I didn't know you were looking or thinking through these.
I think so. The joke is, and don't hate me too much, I'm getting older, Yeah. Nothing against you getting older. I'm getting older. And I have handheld devices. So I think some piece of art, I got rid of my arcade. I just had too good of a deal. As you all can see in my background, I've got some new signs. Shout out to Etsy. Amazing work. All the little signs here are Etsy. But maybe I need a beautiful desktop to just finish off the room there.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea, man. And you know what? You do bring up a good point because you've been mobile,
Yeah.
So
the handhelds are getting better.
Yeah.
And you opened my eyes to Steam Link.
Yeah.
So I think maybe a desktop is in my future.
I will say this. For whatever your price point may end up being at a laptop level, you are going to get way more power for that same price with a PC.
Oh, that sounds great. So and I have future improvements and future upgrades.
Oh, easy. A lot of people will start low. Like even if you just went and got like the Intel Arc Battle Mage, like the low, like on this one here, right?
Yeah.
Dude, you could easily go and buy yourself a 4060, 4070 later, or a 5060, 5070 later, because that's $500 they're saying, supposedly. Put that in it, dude. That's a huge jump. I don't know.
So this doesn't need to be a new segment, but I'm taking the trip down memory lane here.
Uh-oh.
So the last desktop I had, I fell to the Dell curse of dude, it's a Dell and the whole marketing, and I built it online. And
Dell used to be pretty decent, but they've gone downhill quite a bit on the desktop front. Their laptops
now I may shock you, but I believe I had a Dual Core 2. Is that the name of it? Came out about 2004?
Duo Core 2.
Duo Core. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's my last desktop. I actually did it myself. I changed out some graphics card, more memory. It was really fun. And then I went to console gaming for a long time. And then, of course, we know when I bought my first laptop. So.
Yeah. And it's interesting. You go to some of these sites. If you don't want to build it yourself, you can totally customize them. And you look at your price point here. I mean, you look at this bad boy. Now, this is a Ryzen 7, which would be equal to an i7. I mean, 16 gigs of RAM, 4060, around 1200. I mean, if you just want to look at desktop prices comparatively.
Absolutely.
But you can customize them from there. So I don't know, man. You got options if you decide you want to do something. You've got all kinds of options all day long. So it'll be interesting to see where you land. I didn't know you were thinking about it, but it makes sense because if you're more mobile with your deck, I mean, it just makes total sense. Now, before we wrap up, there is something that we need to bring up that I think is really cool that our viewers need to know, and I'll add it in post.
Okay.
You got to meet somebody this week. So guys, I want wait.
I did.
Wait. I said I had a really exciting day. What'd you do today? He's like, oh, I went grocery shopping. I don't have an exciting life. Okay, this jerk. This MFer. Like, I don't have an exciting life. Who did you get to meet at work this week?
So I think we need to start with, I think I've told people I'm in law enforcement, but now I'm more in government security. So I work at the Missouri House of Reps. That's I'm not ashamed to say that out loud. Come find me, or not come find me, but come take a tour is what I mean.
You make it sound like a threat.
No, I mean, come to the Capitol, take a tour. Okay. So anyway, I got to see the man, the myth, the legend, Shaquille O'Neal.
Oh, so jelly. So cool. He's a big man.
Well, and I don't know if you can throw this up in post, the photo.
I will.
But one of the photos, everybody said, are you scared of him? I said, no, that's not what my face is saying. My face is saying, this is a big guy. You know, you see him on TV. Let's take Tom Cruise, for example. I think Tom Cruise is super short.
He is.
But he looks average height on TV. Yeah. This is like Shaq. I mean, he's tall. But when you see the man in person.
I'll show the picture in post, but you're not a short person.
Like, no, I'm 6 foot, 6'1" sometimes, depending on who measures me at the doctor's office.
I am same here. I'm 6. They try to tell me I was 6'2". I'm like, no, I'm not. My brother's 6 to go above that. I'm 6 foot.
Yeah.
This photo will put up he is like towering over you like you are a toddler.
Oh, yeah. And like I said, I think once you all see it, leave comments on our Facebook, Instagram. Let us know what you think. But
oh my gosh,
my face is, wow.
Yeah.
He's really tall. And he had to bend down to get in the elevator. So for all of you curious, he is doing some really, really good work with Department of Social Services. Yeah. Check it out on Missouri DSS's website. That's kind of why he was there. I don't know the whole details, but that's why he was visiting the Capitol, doing some really good work. He's an awesome guy.
I love about him is he gives back. And what's cool about him is I'll never forget the story where it was in the era of, Jordan, which I'm a huge Michael Jordan fan.
Oh, yeah.
But like Jordan was getting the Nike deals and all that. You had the Air Jordans, all that. I remember when it came around for Shaquille O'Neal, because he grew up poor, he decided not to take any of those shoe deals. And of course, his logo is the Dunk, which is his thing. And he did it a thing where that's why they're at Walmart. Shacks are at Walmart because he wanted kids who don't have a lot to have the ability to have nice shoes and have some. I'm sorry. That is one of the coolest things.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And he's always doing stuff. Like you said, he was with social services. He's always trying to help the poor. He's just a cool dude. He's funny. Yeah.
Yeah. And the one thing I noticed at the Capitol, as soon as a kid comes up, he stops everything. I mean, he was there for official business, but when a kid comes up, Shaq is like, absolutely. Get this kid in here. Let me sign some stuff. Let me take some pictures. So
I love that guy.
I think Shaq is just an awesome, down-to-earth guy. He's a multimillionaire, but he's pretty humble still.
He's like a huge investor in Papa John's, too, if I remember correctly.
I think so. Yeah. And he's got a burger place, I think.
Oh, yeah. He's like a businessman.
Oh, absolutely.
It kind of reminds me of how 50 Cent, the rapper, we wouldn't have vitamin water if it wasn't for 50 Cent. Did you know that?
Yeah.
So he's the one that kind of helped get that going, then sold it to Coke. I think he made more money on that vitamin water deal than he did rapping. That's so cool.
I think 50 Cent's 50. I'll say 50 Cent. is a pretty good actor in some of the movies.
He is. He's a cool guy too. So, I don't know, man. I think it's really neat when you see people giving back and doing stuff. Like,
definitely.
Doug just casually dropped on me in our group chat. I'm meeting Shaq today.
Yeah, I saw Shaq today.
Like, like, O'Neal? What? You got to tell me these things. Get a picture. So.
But wherever you're listening, I'm going to say it here as well, and my tour desk peeps will hear this. We have an amazing, beautiful Capitol.
It is cool.
If you are near us, come see it. The art, the
dome,
sculptures, and the dome. Beautiful, amazing. I love working there every day.
The architecture and stuff. Yeah.
Now that everybody knows where I work at, but that's good.
It's a cool place, though. And the fact that you get to meet people like Shaq. Geez,
oh, absolutely.
That's so cool.
And that's... I've seen a lot more celebrities, but that's a different conversation.
Oh,
we've had NFL stars. We've had NASCAR drivers, not drivers, NASCAR stars. Is that what you call them? Yeah,
drivers. I don't know.
Drivers.
Either way, that's really cool. Maybe we'll have a whole other show on who's Doug met. That'd be cool.
Well, a lot of it's hush hush until they show up.
Oh, yeah, that's kind of nice. All right, brother. Well, I think that wraps it up for an episode of... And guess what? My camera, I think it's still working. So
it was glitching a little bit, but you're still moving. I was going to wait to tell you.
No! Did you drop that on me? No.
Yeah, you're still moving. Uh-oh.
No, nope, I'm still moving. No, I'm
okay.
It's shock.
I'm just messing with you. Yeah, so I think to wrap this up, we had a really good conversation, and I hope we help people out there. If you're looking at buying a laptop, looking at buying a desktop, looking at playing Civ 6, hey, join us. We might have a public game soon, stream that. We're trying.
If you have questions, like you need help, you're looking to shop, drop them in the comments. Doug and I will weigh in on it. We'll try to steer you right. Once you
hit us up on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. That's right. Yeah, we're here for you.
Don't forget our merch. We've got cool merch.
Yeah.
So, all right, we're going to wrap this bad boy up. Thank you all for joining us so much for number 2 of 3. And we hope you guys have an awesome week, and we're looking forward to seeing you next week. We have some really cool events and things coming down the way. Really cool stuff cooking. So stay with us, stay patient, and we just really appreciate you all. It's a great community. And Doug, what am I forgetting? Anything?
Thanks for listening. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, Apple TV, and so on. And thank you all so much. We couldn't do this without you. We're not in it for the money. We're in it for the education and the fun and the friendship.
That's right. Good times. Peace out, everybody. See ya.
Thank you.